What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be breaking down a video. This is Miss Courtney Ryan here. She's an online dating quote-unquote expert. I actually did a video about her, and not just her in particular, but online dating coaches, on how they're pretty much they're useless, and their job is helping in the detriment of relationships in our culture and in our society. I've been very vocal about online dating. If you have not seen my video, please check it out. Online dating is not the solution to your family needs or your relationship needs or for your search for love and a partner. Online dating has done irreparable damage when it comes to relationships between men and women. This is why relationships are constantly when I used to online date years ago. And one thing I used to always find that was crazy is when I would get into a relationship, I would get off of the website. Then when I left a relationship, I would get back onto the website. And whenever I got back on, I would see the same people on there. I would see the same profiles, the same individuals, the same women on these sites. And it doesn't, if I get into a relationship and I get off of there, or I don't go on there for a while and I go back on, I would see the same people. Now, obviously some new people will come in, but I would recognize the same faces. So if online dating was the solution to your love life, or the solution to you getting a family or getting married, I would not keep seeing the same people on there over and over again. And not just that, if I left that website and joined another one that I thought would be better, and if you ever online dated, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Some websites are better depending on where you're located, depending on what you're looking for. So if I left one website to join another one that I thought would be more productive, remember that word too, productive, because I'm going to come back to that word later on. If I found it to be more productive, or supposedly to be more productive, when I joined it, I would see the same women on that one and on the one I just left. So this is telling me that these women are duplicating their profiles across many different dating applications. So you have to think, if you have a woman who's on 4 different dating apps and she still can't find a relationship, she still can't find commitment, she still can't find love and find marriage, there is something definitely wrong here. You have your profile on 4 different dating apps, and women get a ton more responses and messages than men do. And if you are even slightly attractive, if you look like Miss Courtney Ryan here, whose inbox I'm sure is flooded with messages, there's no way you should be on 4 different dating apps and have not found a man that was suitable for you. But as we go into the video of this young man who writes Courtney a letter on why he's pretty much given up on relationships, we're going to find out why these women, no matter if they're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different dating apps, why they still can't find the supposed relationship that they're looking for. So let's go to the video, let's listen to this young man's email, and then we'll come back and then we'll break it down.
To be honest, I'd rather just be a little lonelier than deal with all the hassle of dating. I'm really not in a place emotionally and financially where I can deal with sorting through a bunch of misses to find a misses. Nowadays, with dating apps, there's always something new and more exciting just around the corner. So many women I've dated have abruptly broken things off because they found something more exciting. Dating is like...
So he says, every woman I've dated have broken things off because they found something more exciting. Remember, the girl on 4 different dating sites. Women get twice, triple, quadruple the messages that men get on these sites. There's always more men on there than it is women. So that lets you know that their pickings and their options are vastly greater than men's are, which means from a logistical standpoint, they should have a clear advantage in finding a good mate to satisfy whatever it is that they're looking for. Commitment, long-term relationship, marriage, family. They would have an easier time securing that. But we're seeing from the data statistic that they are not. One of the reasons is because of what this young man has said. Because they get so many messages, because they get so much attention, there's always that FOMO. FOMO is a term that's used in the investment world. It's FOMO. That means fear of missing out. So when a woman starts to date a guy who is nice, who is a gentleman, who is decent, because of so many messages that they get, they always are in a constant state of FOMO, fear of missing out. I don't know if this guy that I'm talking to or if this guy that I'm dating is the best guy for me. Maybe there's someone out there who's better than this guy, who I can be happier with, who will make me feel better than the current guy that I'm seeing makes me feel. This is the problem with online dating. It produces FOMO. The messages and the interest that women get, they're quick dopamine hits. And they come one after another, one after another, one after another. And it overwhelms their sensory. It overwhelms them. They can't even control it. They don't even recognize it. They don't recognize that they're actually sabotaging their own happiness. Let's get back to the video.
Taking on a part-time job, I don't have the time or the energy. I'm sure all of you can relate to that. Social media, Hollywood, and porn have really altered the expectations of the general public across the board when looking for a mate. It's actually really messed up psychologically when a person thinks about it. Specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who conveniently hold themselves to extremely low standards but feel entitled to the best. More specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who act like victims when they're confronted with equally high expectations.
All right. So this young man has touched on two really important things. Number one, he says he works and he doesn't have the time to waste trying to establish a relationship. First, I don't have the time to find a woman who would meet my criteria in order to be in a relationship. And most men, the bar is not very high. So he is not a guy that's got very high standards as far as she has to be this outstanding person. You can tell by the nature of the email that he sent her. And just men in general. Guys in general, our barrier to entry is not very high. We don't have a whole laundry list of what she needs to be, what she needs to do. We're pretty much simple. We're basic for the most part. Be supportive, be attractive to your level. Obviously attraction for women is different, but most guys are not out there looking for a bombshell or looking for a 10. That's not what most guys are looking for. That's not even what most guys can get. But most guys are looking for an average, cute, pretty girl. That's what most guys are looking for. A woman that's in shape. And if it's something you want, make sure you're in shape as well. But our barrier to entry is pretty low. When it comes to women, though, there's a lot of different things they look for. Not only are they looking for you to be handsome, they're looking for you to be stable. Stable is a woman's word, a woman's way of saying you need to be financially secure. Because she looks at you as her financial safety net. Even though she has a job, even though she has a degree, even though she has a master's, a PhD, whatever she has, she looks at you as a safety net. That is biological behavior in women. Whenever you hear the word stable, that means financially secure, that she can rely on you economically. We do not look for that quality in women. Men are not built like that. The other thing, women look for physical security. They need to feel safe. So they tend to want guys that are tall, at least taller than them. That is another thing that women look for. They look for financial stability. They look for height. They have so many different barriers to entry before they will even give a guy the time of day. So put yourself in the shoes of an attractive woman, a woman that's on the attractive level of Courtney Air, or even better, or even slightly lower. She's getting all these messages. She is going to automatically zoom in unconsciously, biologically, on the best guy that she thinks she can get. And she's looking at this guy and sizing him up from a different criteria list than how we look at women. She's looking at height, she's looking at his job, she's looking at his income level, she's looking at what school he went to, she's looking at all these different things. And it all looks good on paper. That is the problem with online dating. Online dating is like looking at resumes. It's like an HR person looking at a bunch of resumes. You don't know the person behind it. You're just looking at the school they went to, you're looking at the grades, you're looking at the certifications, but you don't know the person behind the resume. That's what the interview process is for. And as you all know, anybody who's had a job, we've all worked with people that you don't know how in the hell they got the job. You're working with them, you're interacting with them, they're not good with people, they can't talk to the customer, they're not friendly, they're not relatable, and you're just like, how the hell did they even get the job in the first place? Well, most likely they had a very impressive resume, and when it came to the interview process, they do very good interviewing. Sitting in front of a manager, sitting in front of a director, and displaying characteristic traits that the company finds desirable. This is also what happens in the dating market. So you have a woman who's average, who's above average, who's attractive. She's screening dating profiles the way HR screens resumes. And if she sees your dating profile and she likes it, but she sees a guy's profile who she likes better than yours, even though you have a good resume, she finds someone else's resume better, and she has a shot at getting this guy, she goes for this guy. And just like the job scenario, a lot of these guys are great interviewers. They go out on a date, maybe 1, 2, 3 dates. They have sex. She never hears from him again. And then the process repeats. Or she hears from him again because he wants to keep having sexual relations with her for a few weeks, a couple months, whatever the case may be. And then he drops off. She's back on the dating site going through the resumes. Then she comes to another resume that she likes. Then the process and the cycle starts all over again. This is what happens in the dating market. This is what happens with online dating. Women who see your profile and you would be fit and right for the goals that she's looking for, commitment, family, marriage, you would be a perfect candidate for that. Because she's flooded with so many different messages, she's going to pick the best man she feels she can get. And because that man messaged her, she feels that she has a shot with him. That's how women look at it. Even though she's been in this situation over and over again, and every time I go for this guy with this resume, I end up back on his site the next day, next week, or a couple months later. You would think that they would learn their lesson, but the problem is you cannot outdo your biology. Women have to actively go against what their body and what their emotions tell them. This is why they can't stay off of the online dating sites. This is why you keep seeing them on the same site over and over again, or seeing them on several different sites. Because women will tell you one thing. They'll tell you that they want you. Whatever you have in your profile, whatever makes you a good guy, they will tell you out of their mouth that you are what they want. But once they go inside that application and they start looking at those quote unquote resumes, a woman's natural instinct kicks in and she does what her emotions tell her to do. And what her emotions and her biology tells her to do is different than what her mouth tells her to do. This is why they keep doing the same thing over and over again. And this is why, if you want to know what type of men your girlfriend likes, a potential girlfriend likes, any girl likes. Look at their ex boyfriends. Second thing, the young man in the letter brought up he doesn't have the time. He brought up, at work, I just don't have the energy that it takes to find a needle in the haystack. As men, we are extremely product and productivity oriented. Meaning, when we do things, when we put our mind, our energy, and our effort into something, we are expecting a return. We are expecting a result. No man likes to go out there and put his energy, his time, and his effort into something and it does not produce the expected results. Money is something you can always make. Clothes is something you can always buy. One thing you can never get back is your time. Time is extremely valuable because it's limited. We have a limited amount of time every single day. So how we spend it as men, we spend our time and we look at our time as something in exchange for productivity. So what he's saying is all this time and energy that I spend looking for a suitable partner, a willing partner, a capable partner for long-term companionship, for marriage, for a family, the energy and the effort that I put into it is not netting me the results that I'm looking for. We are very results driven. That's how we are as men. And the fact of the matter is that our great grandparents, our great 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 grandparents, and beyond did not have to put in the same amount of effort, energy, and work into getting a good woman. This is the problem. Because men work hard for their families. That's why men work hard. Women go to college and work hard for their survival. There's the difference. If a man could get a great woman working a menial job and she would actually be happy, a man would be completely fine with doing that. The reason why men push hard in the workplace, push hard to build themselves up, push hard to make a comfortable living economically, financially, is because we know that this is something that's desirable by women. This is why. But we are willing to work hard. We are willing to use our energy, our resources, all this stuff, if we know that at the end of all this sacrifice, all this pain, all this hard work, and all this suffering, there is a family waiting for us at the end of it. And the truth of the matter is, today, that is not the case. Many of us will work hard. Many of us went to school, apprenticeship, graduated, got a degree, whatever the case may be, made sacrifices, and there is no family waiting at the end of it. This is what the young man is saying. I did all the right things. I went to school. I got grades. I worked hard. I did all this stuff. And then when I was done doing these things, what's supposed to be waiting for me is a family, a companion, a wife. So after I did these things, I went out there, I did online dating, and I wasn't able to net the results that I was looking for after all this hard work. A lot of men feel like this today. This is why a lot of men have given up on dating. Because after all the hard work, after all the sacrificing, after all the pain, they still are not able to get the results that they're looking for. And even worse than that, a lot of them are still being told that they're not good enough. It is not easy to make $70,000 a year. It's not. It's not easy to do that. And after you bust your butt, make sacrifices, and do all these things to make a $70,000 a year salary, you're being told that that's not good enough. You're being told by a lot of women that you're pursuing, you need to make at least six figures, you need to make at least 90,000. So men are coming to the point where they just think it's just not worth it anymore. I knew what it take for me to get to this point, and if I'm still not good enough after doing all this stuff, after busting my hump, after making sacrifices, working lots of hours, going to school, if I'm still not good enough to date you, who's average, because most people are average, if I'm still not good enough to date an average girl or a slightly above average girl, then what is the point? Dating is like a mutual fund. If I'm not seeing any return on the fund, why would I keep pumping money into it? No, I want to take my money and put it elsewhere. So in dating, this young man is saying, I want to take my energy and my efforts and put it elsewhere. Put it towards something that's going to net me the results that I'm looking for. And a final thought before I get out of here. What I would say, if you are a young man or an older man and you are looking for a wife and you are looking to get married, and that's most of us want that. I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to have a very difficult time. What I would say is meet women in real life. Stay off of online dating. Online dating is just, unless you're in that top 5-10% of men, it's most of the time it's probably going to be a waste of time for you. You'll run into a lot of issues, especially like what this guy's talking about. You're going to run into the hot, cold stuff where you meet a girl, you're talking, things are going fine. She sees someone else's profile because she's still getting flooded with messages. She likes their profile better. They responded to her, and then she just tapers off, and the relationship goes cold. So you're going to run into a lot of this hot, cold stuff. So what I would say is meet someone actually in real life. When I meet the girls that I've met over the past few years have been in real life. They've been at the supermarket, they've been at the store or something like that. But if your primary way of trying to meet someone of the opposite sex is online, then you're going to have an extremely tough time at it. You are up against not just the guys in your town, you're up against the guys in the next town over, the next state over, the next city over, because online dating has expanded the borders. So where Sally would marry Jack and they would have a happy, beautiful marriage and a happy, beautiful life, she doesn't want to marry Jack now. She wants to marry Butch, who lives 3 towns away. This is the problem. Our relationship circles have now expanded, and it's not a good thing. You may think it's a good thing, and it may look like a good thing on paper, but when you work it out in reality, it's actually a terrible thing. So, guys, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. Especially if you've done online dating or if you're doing it now. I would love to hear your comments and your feedback on that, on what your experience has been like. I can relate to this young man because I've had that experience. Most of the success that I've got out of online dating has been, I'll be honest with you, it's been hookups. It's been hookups and one night stands. I have not really seen the successful long-term relationship type thing come out of it. And then every now and again, someone will raise their hand and say, oh, well, I met my fiance on there. But yeah, but that's a needle in the haystack. So let me know your thoughts and your comments below, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.